Hi, welcome to Cardinal Scale Manufacturing. It's 11 a.m. Central Standard Time here in Webb City, Missouri. We appreciate you joining us today. There's a lot of good content that you're going to see in the next 35 minutes or so. Just as a reminder, on your screen, there should be some drop-down pieces of literature that you can download on some of the topics that we've talked about today. So please come to our website or pull out those drop-downs for more information. Cardinal Scale has philosophy. We never go back, we always go forward. As a single source supplier, when you purchase and represent Cardinal, you must realize that all the products on this table we're going to cover today are designed and manufactured and assembled right here in Webb City, Missouri. We have all the engineers, we have all the software labs, so we can design things when we need them right now, which you'll see in a little bit. When we launched the armored truck scale in 2017, we showed you and we showed our staff the opportunities going forward with new technology. But how did we get there? Being founded in 1950, we made a lot of steps. Back in the 70s, we really knocked it dead with truck scales. We launched in the 1970s the very first all steel deck above ground truck scale with analog technology. Everyone else had cast iron levers and pit scales. We were the very first ones to do an above ground scale. We incorporated our brand new compression SCA load cell and the PRC model. And the PRC model has been in place for years and years, and many of those are still being serviced today. The PRC lasted a good, strong 20 years of marketing up until the mid-90s. In the mid-90s, we decided, okay, it's time to take a change with the technology. So we created our very first double-ended shear beam stainless steel load cell, the DB75000K load cell. It's been an outstanding product for us. It was in the model EPR. But with that double-ended shear beam load cell, we've recognized over the years we need to look for other opportunities. This one, and this is somebody else's link, when you have a double-ended shear beam load cell, then you have a linkage system. Well, a linkage system can have debris that trouble it during the weighing process. As good as it was, we felt like, we could be better. So what we did was, back in 2014, we brought management in, all the engineers in, March 2014, and said, hey, we want to take what's available now and in the future in technology and do something more powerful so we can again and continue to lead the market, whether it's truck scales, whether it's floor scales, whether it's other technology. And that's exactly what we did. We had 4 qualifiers that we wanted to accomplish within a new product. Number 1, we wanted to redesign and design the very best truck bridge in the industry today. We did that. Number 2, we wanted to take technology, weighing technology, and create something that could be used in truck scales and with other products going forward. We did that with the SCVB digital load cell. Number 3, we wanted to create a new truck scale that was more serviceable and easiest to service in the industry today. So even the most novice service tech, beginning service tech, could go out and work on this scale one time through the diagnostics that the Armor digital truck scale brings to you today, which we'll review in a little bit. So going forward then, what can we do with digital technology? Well, within the new SCVB digital load cell is this very small analog to digital conversion card. We looked at this and said, what can we do? This is so cool. What the engineers did was, okay, they said, we took power out of the truck scale. Let's take power out of every truck scale in the market that uses analog cells. So we took this analog to digital conversion card, and the engineers in the lab was able to map up to 10 of those on one board in one box. So enabling us then to take the standard junction box out of anyone's analog truck scale and replace it with the Smart Can. The Smart Can has been installed worldwide now, whether it's Thailand, whether it's Kuwait, whether it's North Africa. So we have been in the market with our analog to digital conversion with the Smart Can in many, many places. But we're going to grow from that point. So also back in 2006, so we had the PRC, we had the EPR. In 2006, we said, you know what? Let's give the distributors and the customers the best of both worlds in truck scales. So we launched at that time in 2006 the actual Guardian truck scale. The Guardian truck scale incorporates hydraulics within the load cell. These load cells are so dependable with no power to them, only running on fluid, that we warranty these for a lifetime. It's a significant investment, but you get that back over the life of the scale. So thinking about what we did with the analog to digital conversion within the Smart Can, now for you today, and we just sold one this week, you can now have the Guardian truck scale with the Smart Can technology inserted into it. So at all times, you can do diagnostics on a hydraulic truck scale, which is outstanding, whether it's through the cloud or whether it's through diagnostics on the indicator. Additionally, we took the same Smart Can technology and put it in a small 4-cell box, which is in use today. 2 specific applications: in a floor scale, where they want to have diagnostics for the floor scale, or even a railroad track scale, where we have 2 separate bridges. In a railroad track scale, all you need is 2 of these in that railroad track scale. No power at the scale, simply a home run cable from the junction box to the weight indicator. Pretty creative by our entire staff. Then we knew that when we wanted to grow the market with digital systems, right now we're putting Smart Can in many countries around the world. International dealers, they still utilize a lot of compression cells for the ease of bridge design, plus the bridges they maintain. So we launched the new DC series cell, digital, incorporating the same little board inside this cell. So you'll see the weight going in, the weight going out. So simply, if I have 8 load cells, oh, by the way, anti-rotation, simply connect the cable to the weight indicator, and that's it. And you have a full digital system without any power in the scale. So just from that little meeting in March of 2014, we've come this far, and we'll continue to grow with the digital systems. So one unique thing that you must know about the SCD digital load cell is that this load cell now is truly patented IP69. What does that mean? Well, IP69 does not let water in. We went a little different step. Most other companies have IP69 rated load cells. Now here's one, it's IP69, but there's gas and air inside that load cell, as well as all others who are rated IP69. The SCDB load cell now is patented IP69 from the inside out. So what we've done is we inject potting all the way through this load cell, that this little card is totally encapsulated. When you take the IP69 load cell and you put it on the axis system with no moving parts below this scale and no linkage system required, we've removed anything that could impede with the weighing process in this truck scale. I have a couple of pictures. Remember we mentioned the Guardian and we talked about the Armor IP69 inside out? I want to show you a couple of pictures that may surprise you. This first picture, and you'll see on a post, it has the Guardian totalizer. This is a hydraulic truck scale. As advertised, impervious to water, there's no power in that load cell. So as the floods come, when the floods leave, The Guardian still weighs. It's incredible. The next picture we want to look at. Is this a Guardian hydraulic? No. It's an Armor Smart Cell digital system. After this water left, the scale kept weighing. How can that be? Because now we have the IP69 rated from the inside out, but we took power out of the scale. So with the cables being waterproof from load cell to load cell and simply needing a home run cable to the weight indicator, we're finished. So when the water went down, the scale kept weighing. It's a tremendous thing to show you these visual images for the IP69. Now what we want to do is we want to discuss the power of the Armor system, okay, with the IP69 rated load cell, that you can spend 3 minutes and 20 seconds of your time if you're making a decision to see why this is so powerful. Let's watch the new video.
Moisture is the biggest enemy of load cells. Strain gauges and internal circuitry can be easily damaged when water and condensation get inside. Cardinal Scale's SCBD Smart Cells feature the highest protection rating possible against moisture in truck scale load cells IP69K. SCBD load cells are built from the inside out with a superior design to lock out any potential for moisture intrusion. This patent-pending potting method fills every internal channel and provides SCBD load cells with an unparalleled level of protection that no one else offers. To start the process, extra care is taken in dehumidifying and removing all moisture from the stainless steel load cell's internal channels and electronics to allow for proper adhesion of Cardinal Scale's proprietary potting compound. Load cells are placed in drying ovens at 95 degrees Fahrenheit to dry out the load cell body and internal electronics. Next, primer is applied to the load cell covers and internal channels. The load cell cups are locked into place with sealant to prevent water from entering the cells, forming an incredibly tight bond. A groove in the load cell body around the strain gauge cavity, combined with the concave shape of the cup covers, is designed to prevent moisture caused by condensation from entering and damaging the strain gauges. The unique load cell and cup design and sealant adhesion keeps load cell cups in place while locking moisture out. Cardinal Scale's patent-pending process then fills the entire load cell with a proprietary potting compound. The compound is injected into the bottom of the load cell and completely fills it, with excess potting allowed to exit the top of the load cell through tubing. This measure allows any excess air to exit the load cell's internal channels and for gravity to pull excess potting compound into the cavity to displace escaping air. The SCBD load cell's internal channel is completely filled, excluding any chance of moisture from damaging strain gauges and electronics. Once the load cells have cured, the SCBD's cable connectors provide an additional layer of defense when hooked up to load cell cables. Moisture that is wicked from within load cell cables can work their way inside load cells and cause failures. The SCBD's cable connector design, in tandem with the proprietary potting method, form an impregnable line of defense against moisture entering the load cell and damaging electronics. Cardinal Scale's digital load cell cables feature metal sheathing on the inside to protect against rodent damage, and the connector hardware is stainless steel for long-lasting protection. As shown here, competitors' load cells can easily fall victim to water and humidity issues because of exposed internal open cavities which collect condensation and the way moisture will wick up load cell cables inside cells to wreak havoc over time. The combination of Cardinal Scale's cap and cavity design, proprietary potting compound, and load cell connectors prevent moisture from harming the load cells and leave no potential for condensation issues. No other manufacturer provides this level of protection to defend against moisture intrusion like the SCBD Smart Cell.
That's an outstanding presentation, and that load cell created and manufactured right here in Webb City. If your customer or yourself are making a decision to buy a $55,000, $60,000 truck scale, you owe yourself 3 minutes and 20 seconds to see that video of that load cell and the IP69 from the inside out. I'd like to show you a couple of images right now. Number one is the, pardon me, Asia. Oh, this is, I forgot, you've got to see this. We haven't talked much about the indicator, the 225, that powers the armor systems, and I'll tell you why. Number one is many of our dealers and customers tell us that since we calibrate the armor truck scale in-house, that many times when they install it, if the foundation is even, if everything's ready to go, that they never really have to calibrate the scale. They simply power up the indicator, run a few weights over, and they're done. They seal it. If there is a particular case where you do need to do a calibration on a scale, remember I said earlier, we created a 225 in the armor system so that even the most novice of technicians can calibrate the scale. I'm the novice of technicians. I'm not a technician, but I'm going to show you right now just how easy it is if you need to calibrate the armor digital system. So I'm simply going to hold down on the shift key and the enter key and go into calibration. So it is selection number 5. I do remember that. And now you'll see Smart Cal and all the other associated calibrations that you may need to utilize. Only 4 steps. But number 1 is Smart Cal. That's generally all you'll need to use. It is so fast to calibrate this scale that you can do it in 20 minutes, one technician. So he goes into Smart Cal mode, he drives the cart or the truck or drops the weights on each individual load cell up one side and down the other and hits the enter key and he's finished. And that's it. So he just backspaces out of it and he's finished with the calibration. What you're seeing there, by the way, is a multi-platform scale, which I'll show you later why I have that there. But here is the other really neat advantage for you or the customer who has this scale. If they feel like that they're having some problems with the load cell, they feel like something is drifting, then they call you. You can have them do something very simple for you. You can have them go into diagnostics very quickly, and I'll tell you why. So when we go into diagnostics and we actually see the load cells that are being shown, that customer can report to you what they see so that you make one trip to that site instead of an investigative trip to find out what the problem is and then go back again, saving the customer over the term of the scale thousands of dollars. All done because we have access to diagnostics right on screen. So I'll just simply exit this and I'm back to weight. Now, before we go further with something I'm going to call Eyesight, what I want you to realize is that the 225D showing you keypad diagnostics, well, the 225D, the power of the Armor Digital is the digital load cell card that's inside the 225. One distinct advantage we have is that we are non-volatile to calibration. What do I mean by that? When we calibrate this truck scale at the factory, the calibration is written to the main board, but it's also written to this DLC card that's inside the scale. Really, really a big advantage. So if you do lose calibration in the indicator in the field, you just need to determine if it's the DLC card or the main board and replace whichever one it is and answer a simple question to say which card holds the calibration. Now, one other specific advantage you see is each DLC card includes an Ethernet connector. Well, if that customer has internet access in their scale house, you can actually just get a standard Ethernet cable and plug it into the 225 into their router, their hub in their scale house. That scale now can be seen across the world through the cloud-based diagnostics. This is tremendous. And you can be alerted via email or text message if there's ever a problem with the Armor truck scale, giving you and your customer yet a significant advantage on why they should choose the digital truck scale. Now, when I talked about the cloud and support, I have John Carver who's with us today, who's going to show us an example of how you seek diagnostics on the cloud on a PC, just sitting at your desk or looking at your cell phone. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Eyesight is basically a cloud-based application that will let you access diagnostics and load cell information from pretty much anywhere. It will also let you assign your technicians specific jobs so that if there's a fatal error at that scale, your technician will get an email or a text message, whichever, alerting them to that scale problem. What we're going to do here is look at a site at Redmond Minerals out in Utah. When we bring this up, come on. You've got the overview of the site, the equipment. This is running with the 225D indicator. What's nice for this job, your technicians can go in and add notes so that every time there's a service trip out there, they have notes with what they've done on the job that day. A lot of companies, you may have 5 or 6 different scale technicians. It's hard for those guys to know what the last guy that went to work on that scale did to it. And that way they can just drop down through the notes and look at the service history of that scale. Errors would be a list of any active errors on the scale. What we can do here real quick, this truck scale is actually a 2-scale system with 14 load cells. I'll normally look at cells in a pair. If we would map out, we can actually graph the output of the load cells to look for trends for about any time period we want. With 14 load cells, if we did them all, that'd get kind of busy on the graph, and it's kind of hard to tell what's going on. So I'll usually do a pair of load cells in a section. So here we'll look at load cells 1 and 2, and just for the last 24-hour period, because it takes a few seconds to crunch this data here. But we're going to click update. And we went for the last 24-hour period, and it has logged that. And you can see that the output of those cells has been nice and stable for that period of time. Now, 24 hours really doesn't tell you much, but you can actually go back and say that you want to look at the output of those cells for the last, let's say for the last month. So if one of those cells is drifting up or drifting down, acting erratic, you can pretty much tell from this chart right here. Now, what's nice on the schematic for the scale, if you get a fatal error where all of these load cell location and cables are green, if a load cell goes out, that'll be bright red. And if we think that there's a bad cable in it, that cable will show up as red there. So it shows you exactly what's going on. On this job site, the home run cable, you can see the little scale house here, goes into the scale at load cell number 6. Now, if you want to drill down and get a little bit more information from a load cell that you think has issues, we can come down here and see the date, the time that this data came in. Load cell number 1, this is the active millivolt going into the A to D processor. The actual weight, the calibrated 0 for that cell, and what the temperature was through the thermistor in the cell. The current status is there's no problem with that load cell there. So this is a real good service tool that you can sell as part of a quarterly service package. And it's a real good marketing tool. You can go out and show that you're a customer, that pretty much you're at the leading edge technology. There's a couple of other companies that has this available. It's not available down at the dealer level. If you would want to look at this, you would have to go to the manufacturer. Their tech people look at it and then advise you what you should do. I think we're the only manufacturer out there that gives our dealers access to this kind of information.
Yes, I will concur with John. In my travels, I found that we are the only company that provides the cloud-based diagnostics absolutely free of charge with each truck scale. In fact, when you order the truck scale, when you buy a truck scale, we automatically load it onto the dealer site so that you will have access to it if you choose to do so. As a review today so far, we've talked about the hydraulic truck scale and now the advancements that we've done with SmartCam, which is really outstanding. And recently, last week, we had the portable armored truck scale presentation. It was really a big hit, and a dealer just called us today asking for the YouTube video that we put out there to assist their technicians on installation. What I'd like to show you in just a minute is to show you the value of the armor truck scale and then the portable truck scale and then one of the other installations itself. So we're going to look at a portable armor truck scale that's in a tank site down in South Texas in just a moment. And it will show you how, with no connection points within a junction box, how easy it is to put in. So right now on site, we see a portable armor truck scale. Hey, by the way, with the optional ramps, that's in an oil refinery in South Texas. Why were they choosing the portable truck scale? Because they have a lot of refineries down there in that area, and they need to move it quickly when they finish one job to the next. So the Armor Portable is truly the best portable truck scale in the industry today. The next one we're going to look at is a recent installation of two scales. And this one's actually using our remote displays. It's using our kiosk, all the power of Cardinal produced right here in Webb City. And they also order the optional double pipe side rails. So this installation is excellent. With the in scale and outbound scale, it's working today and 24 hours a day. So that's actually great to see. Now, when we first started talking today, it was like one of the things that we wanted to accomplish with the Armor Truck Scale is the very best truck scale bridge on the market today. This is tremendous. This is the steel deck armor. What you must realize is that those 12-inch, 14-pound I-beams, all of them go to a 1-inch end wall, giving you the best durability of any truck scale out there, with the least amount of deflection and without the least FEA analysis hot points that scale could break in the future. So this scale will give you years and years of service. Now, those I-beams on the flanges on the top, robot welded to a 5/16 deck plate, is only about 6.5 inches between those flanges. So yet again, you get more stability within the steel deck as you do with any other scale. The next one I'd like to look at is the concrete deck scale. One of our most popular series for the agricultural market. This scale comes 14 wide, legal for trade here in the States, but you'll notice that that steel that's going down through the center of the load cell has holes punched out. This makes this scale field pour ready because we don't need rebar. You don't need to purchase rebar. You can have this scale up and running in no time. Here's a visual of the concrete that's been poured into the Armor concrete deck scale. The next one I would like to look at is a true example of what I was discussing and what I was showing here. That is the double-ended shear beam SCV cell, but you'll see that it's bolted to the bridge. You know, the number one wear and tear in any truck scale is the components that wear and tear. The linkage assemblies, whether the load cell is mounted on the foundation, all the checking that's required. With the access point, with that chromium ball, all you do is set that bridge down on that stand with no moving parts underneath it. We don't have to worry about water because we're IP69 inside and out. We don't have to worry about debris such as the landfill. Just set it on the foundation and away you go. It is tremendous. The next thing I would like to show you as a review is that portable truck scale. The portable truck scale, the 70-footer, guess what? When you buy a 70-foot scale and a spacer, optional spacer, you can make 3 scales in one. What you see here is a pickup scale, a dump truck scale, and a full 18-wheeler semi scale out of one scale. So the one at the top for pickup trucks, all we've done is we pulled the bulkhead off the other end approach and put it on the one scale with both bulkheads, put it on a compacted surface, and I'm weighing pickup trucks. Here's where the spacer comes in. If I want to weigh dump trucks and I don't want a full length scale, but I need 2 bridges, I can put the spacer between the end module, both end modules, and now I have a 50-some foot long truck, portable truck scale for dump trucks only. Now, the next rental customer says, oh, I need a full length scale. So all we're going to do is drop the middle bridge down into the 2 bridges, and I've installed and made a 70-foot portable truck scale. Remember, a portable truck scale with no power, it has 2XX USB-A options that come standard that you can buy to go with it to collect weight data, because a lot of portable truck scales are in isolated remote sites. This gives you the very best choice with Cardinal Scale. Here you see where our load cell stand is mounted between the I-beams on a steel deck scale and a portable truck scale. This is where we get the strength. Because of the positioning of our SCDV load cell, and because of that stand, that allows us to fit between both I-beams, so we do not need to cut an I-beam anywhere within that scale that could add to deflection and wear and tear. So very, very important. What we'd like to do now is cover a few other products that we have with you today. Number one is, I'd like to talk about the diversity. There's the 205, but here's the 210. The 210 has been a very popular weight indicator for years, and the 205 that does not have the 10 keypad. So the storm indicators, you have the choice of what you require for any application, whether it's Ethernet, whether it's wireless, whatever it might do, these scales, these indicators can do it. Just a couple of years ago, we launched a new indicator. We recognized the need for a low cost, yet highly durable indicator that we produce that is feature rich and flexible. This is the 185. It's an IP65 indicator, meaning waterproof. We produce it here as a bright green display. Now, what's really neat is you say, wow, that display looks great. It's actually the display that we include on the 190 indicator. We'll show you in a few minutes. But this is feature rich because you can run on AC batteries, you can run on NiCad batteries, or you can just run power to it. Many distributors use this on their test trucks and in stock to replace existing indicators on floor scales or bench scales, or add it to one of their lower cost floor scales for an actually sell to the customer. But here's where the real advantage comes. It is also a remote display. When we look at what we're seeing on the 210 indicator, I'm actually have the 185 connected as a remote display. It's one of the most low cost remote displays in the industry today with the brightest display. So we could mount this up on a vessel somewhere in a factory environment. We could put it anywhere and you'll have a visual of the other weight indicator wherever you need it. And with the way the gimbals lock in, it positions itself well. So it's the 185. Don't forget the 185. The price is great. Now, I mentioned display of the 185. Let's talk about the Admiral and the 190. This has been on our product line for quite some time, but maybe you've never really seen the power of the Admiral. The Admiral comes with a stainless steel, very heavy duty base. This is very important. When you're doing produce, you're doing poultry or beef, you're wanting to trim meat, you're wanting to weigh, you're wanting to do check weigh very fast. It's a productivity issue. So when I do move weight from the scale and I add it, you see the stability of that weight as I place new weight on the scale. But what gives you the advantage of the Admiral is that standard out of the box, the 190, you have check weighing. Right now we're in an amber color, it's below weight. As I add weight to the scale, whoop, that's an accept range, it's green. And oh, if I add too much to the scale, it's red. We have a site here for a moment. We have a site in England where they have many of these on their line, and they utilize the Wi-Fi card internally. And as they produce, every time it comes to an accept range, it kicks out a notification to an industrial PC on the wall. So they know the employee who's being the most productive. They'll take that very productive employee and make them a supervisor to train the other employees on how to run the commodities fast. So it's a great opportunity for the 190 and the Admiral. But the 190 can be applied to most any bench scale. But the real power of the 190 is 190 Targets. 190 Targets is a free software package from Cardinal Scale. You can find it on our website. What's important about 190 Targets? If we've added the Wi-Fi card to the 190, and we have several of these in a production area, then the supervisor, the manager, can take control over the weights, the pre-checked weights that need to go out onto each line, taking that out of the employee's hands. so mistake-free. So they can add at a moment's notice, they can send to that 190 in that one location via the IP address, the product, the commodity, and the target weights just for that product until the job is done. It's called 190 Targets, free from Cardinal, out of the website that you can download and update. Next is a brand new product I'd like to show you. This is a BK20. This is our brand new stainless steel or mild steel stand for tanks and hoppers and vessels. What's so important about this? This is our double-ended shear beam load cell. But the most important part is that vessels and tanks usually have large, tall legs that bolt to the stand, right? Anytime they have an issue with their hopper or vessel and they need to do maintenance, or perhaps they need to replace a load cell, you no longer have to jack it up into the sky. You normally now, at this moment, can simply raise it with a little hydraulic jack, just a ½ inch, and you can remove this load cell. Or you can remove this from the load cell if you need to work on the vessel, because we simply have pins to release. So we no longer need bolts. We're using our double-ended shear beam load cell that we produce, and all of this is from Cardinal Scale. So we can adjust weights, heights, stems, anything that you need to do for a volume based on this product. So we look forward to that and you marketing this in the future. What we've just launched that we announced a couple weeks ago is the SB600 now with a quad display. Very, very important. As I adjust weights on the simulator, you'll see that the weights are now changing on the quad display. It's very bright. There's 10 degrees of brightness. And this is standard now in the SB600. This eliminates you from having 4, if you have a 3 scale in total weights, 4 of these, which saves the customer a lot of money. So this feature is standard, meaning that on the 225 indicator, if you tell it 2 scales in total, that's what you're going to see, 2 scales in total. If you just want to see 1 scale, fine. Then it'll go to the large 6-inch digits. Remember, there's 1,200 RGBs, red, green, blue LEDs in this unit, so it's very, very bright. And we can adjust the colors, whether you want blue, yellow, red, doesn't matter. When you do go to the single scale, you gain the red, green light for stop and go, which is standard software in the 225. So don't forget the SB600 now and the quad display as a standard feature. If you have an SB600 in the field and you want to convert it to a quad display, then you simply need the hex file, the program file for the current 225, download it, and then you will have this feature. Today's been incredible, and we appreciate you being with us. We covered such things as everything the power the analog to digital card can do now, besides the truck scale, with the Smart Can. Oh, please take advantage of the Smart Can. For all those other analog truck scales out there, convert them to the Smart Can. Take the power away from it and use the 225D, and you have a complete digital system. And with Smart Can, what John was showing you with Eyesight, you can take any other competitive analog scale out there or ours and convert it to the 225, the Smart Can, and have access remotely from Eyesight or diagnostics on the screen. But when it comes down to the very, very finest scale in the industry, which is the Guardian, the hydraulic, we now have Smart Can available for it so that I can run true diagnostics on any of those hydraulic load cells and see exactly where we are right now if I need to perform service. All of these features save your customer thousands of dollars over the term of the life of that scale. The scale is their cash register. Whether it's the Abra with the 190 or whether it's their truck scale, you want to be up and running. Cardinal Scale is a single source supplier. We can always make modifications, enhancements like the quad display at a given moment. We do it. We'll take care of you. We appreciate your business. So until next time, have a great and wonderful day. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us.